Let me speak to you man to man for a moment. When you and a woman stop contacting each other, the silence hits different. It forces you to sit with your thoughts, your ego, your hope, and your frustration. Most men either chase too fast or wait too long, both driven by fear. The truth is, silence is where you learn who you are and who she is. It reveals intention, patience, polarity, and whether the connection still has weight. In modern dating, mutual silence doesn't automatically mean the story is over. It means the story is in negotiation. Women test through distance as much as they test through attention. They pay attention to what you do in the quiet, not what you do when you're getting validation. When you handle silence well, you gain leverage and clarity. When you handle it poorly, you lose respect, attraction, and self-control. This message is for the man who has the urge to break the silence, explain himself, argue, or fix what isn't ready to be fixed. The urge to rush belongs to insecurity. The urge to hold position belongs to strength. The play you make in silence is often the play that defines everything that happens after. In the modern dating world, you don't chase the pause, you manage it. 1. The reset advantage. When the two of you go quiet, most men imagine the woman sitting somewhere forgetting them or moving on. That's rarely how it works. Silence isn't just absence, it's a reset. During that reset, everything gets recalibrated. Interest, respect, boundaries, and power. The man who panics and reaches out first usually loses the advantage because he signals neediness, not clarity. The man who uses the reset to center himself creates a different dynamic when contact resumes. Here's the part most men overlook. Women don't only notice what you do for them, they notice what you do for yourself. If during the silence you spiral, check her socials, replay conversations, talk to friends, and overthink, nothing changes. But if you use the reset advantage to improve your position mentally, emotionally, and socially, she feels the shift without you explaining anything. Silence doesn't hurt masculine presence. It reinforces it if you manage it correctly. The reset advantage also exposes false urgency. If she truly wanted to cut things off, she wouldn't go quiet. She would make it final. Silence is often space, not rejection. It creates curiosity. Curiosity creates reflection. Reflection creates desire. This is why the man who rushes to break the quiet often pays for it. He interrupts the curiosity before it matures. The reset lets both of you step back from the emotional noise and re-engage from a stronger position. It gives you the chance to show that your mind is not easily disturbed. Modern women rarely say it out loud, but silence is where they gauge a man's stability without asking. When silence happens, don't chase, don't explain, don't justify. Use the reset to elevate yourself and change the angle of the dynamic, because the man who owns the reset owns the next move. 2. Leverage through patience. Patience in silence is not passive, it's strategic. Most men confuse patience with waiting. Waiting is hoping she comes back. Patience is positioning yourself so that if she does, the dynamic favors you. Women feel when a man is emotionally impatient. They may not describe it in words, but they sense that anxious pull. That energy pushes them away faster than any disagreement or argument. Patience is a test of self-control. Modern dating gives women endless attention from apps, DMs, and distractions. What separates a man is scarcity, not scarcity of presence, scarcity of emotional availability. When you remain patient, you show that your emotions aren't negotiable on demand. That creates value, and value creates attraction. Patience also creates a contrast. A man who chases gives her certainty. A man who holds position gives her curiosity. Certainty kills momentum. Curiosity keeps the connection alive. Here's another angle. Patience sharpens perception. When you don't rush back in, you start noticing things you missed. How consistent was she before the silence? How respectful? How attentive? How cooperative? These details matter because silence doesn't only reveal her feelings, it reveals her capabilities. Not every woman is equipped for healthy connection. Silence exposes who wants attention and who wants partnership. The man who uses patience correctly learns the difference. But patience doesn't mean pretending you don't care. That's a game. Patience means you choose not to act impulsively. You protect your dignity. You give space for desire to rebuild. When a woman reaches out after silence, she should find a man who hasn't collapsed emotionally or socially. A man who stayed busy, disciplined, and focused. That's leverage, not because you withheld contact, but because you didn't collapse into insecurity. Patience gives you the advantage without force or manipulation. 3. Mirror without chasing silence creates a mirror. It reflects intention and emotional balance. When she pulls back and you stay calm, you mirror her distance without chasing. This doesn't mean ignoring her or trying to win. It means you don't break formation. Men lose leverage by trying to fix the quiet, restart the conversation, or demand clarity. Those moves come from discomfort, not strength, and women feel that instantly. Mirroring is powerful because it respects the rhythm of the connection. If she needs space, pushing destroys desire. If she's testing, over-explaining fails the test. If she's undecided, chasing makes the decision easy. She loses interest. Modern dating rarely rewards the man who tries to force emotional momentum. It rewards the man who controls his reactions and lets her curiosity build. Here's the key: mirroring is not punishment. It's alignment. You're not pulling back to get even. You're matching the level of energy being shown. If she's minimal, you stay minimal. If she's slow, you stay steady. Eventually, the one with higher genuine interest shows their hand. Mirroring lets that reveal happen naturally. Women pay attention to how men behave when they're unsure. When contact stops, they notice if you break or stay composed. They notice if you chase or wait for things to unfold. That composure communicates more than words. Mirroring shows that your validation doesn't come from her attention alone. It shows that your life already has focus, structure, and purpose. That's attractive because it signals maturity, not game playing. The men who struggle the most with silence are the ones who attach too fast or too deeply without foundation. Mirroring protects you from that. It keeps you stable. It lets the dynamic breathe. And most importantly, it keeps you from selling yourself short just to keep the connection alive. Silence is not solved by chasing. It's solved by matching, observing, and letting the truth surface. 4. Social proof without performance. When silence sets in, most men think the only way to regain interest is through direct communication. But modern attraction doesn't work only through direct engagement. It works through perception. Social proof is the quiet force behind interest. It tells a woman, without saying a word, that you're not stuck, bitter, or waiting. The key is to show it naturally, not perform it for attention. Social proof isn't about showing off or trying to trigger jealousy. That's weak. Women can spot forced validation a mile away, overposting, fake fun, flashy pictures, or dramatic energy shifts. That's not attractive, it's desperate. Real social proof is when your life continues with momentum. When you attend events, stay consistent with your goals, enjoy your routine, and socialize with people who energize you. When silence doesn't slow your world down, women are drawn to men with forward motion, not because of status, but because motion communicates emotional stability. It shows you aren't defined by any single connection. When a woman sees that the silence didn't break you, it shifts how she evaluates you. The respect grows first. Interest usually follows. Another layer most men miss. Social proof also attracts better options, and options influence behavior. When a man has options, his communication becomes cleaner, calmer, and less reactive. He doesn't overinvest too early or collapse during silence. Women notice that difference. They don't have to see your options to feel your options. Social proof also protects you from idealizing her during silence. When your life is full, you're less likely to rewrite history and convince yourself she was perfect. You see reality clearly. Silence is dangerous when you isolate. It becomes powerful when you stay socially alive. The point isn't to make her chase. The point is to avoid chasing yourself into emotional scarcity. Momentum always makes a man more compelling. Silence is where that momentum matters most. 5. Let her make the first move. This is where most men fail when the communication stops. The instinct is to reach out first, to check in, to clarify, to test the waters, to ask what happened, or to try to restart the spark. But when silence is mutual, the move has more weight. Letting her make the first move changes the dynamic entirely. It forces interest to reveal itself without you having to push. Women understand the value of contact better than men think. If a woman wants to talk to you, she will. If she is curious, she will. If she respects you, she will. If the bond meant something, she will. Allowing her to be the one to re-engage creates clarity because it strips away uncertainty. It removes guesswork. When she reaches out, she's showing effort, and effort is the foundation of real connection. Letting her make the first move also tests compatibility. If a woman is incapable of initiating contact, checking in, or showing basic interest, she's not ready for an emotionally balanced dynamic. Too many men carry relationships on their backs, doing all the calling, texting, planning, and emotional lifting. Silence exposes that imbalance. If she never breaks it, you learn something valuable without having to say a word. But here's the crucial part. The key isn't just waiting for her to reach out, it's how you receive her when she does. If you respond bitterly, sarcastically, or with cold punishment, you ruin the leverage. The goal isn't revenge, it's clarity and momentum. When she breaks silence, you respond with calm confidence, not overeager, not needy, not distant, just masculine composure. In modern dating, effort speaks louder than emotion. When both parties go quiet, the first person to initiate reveals interest. The second reveals maturity. Silence becomes useful when you stop rushing to fill it. Let her take the step toward you. If she never does, the truth is loud enough. 6. Re-engage with structure. If she breaks the silence, the biggest mistake is rushing back into emotional intensity. Men often do this because they've been rehearsing conversations in their head during the quiet. They over-explain, over-praise, or over-share. That kills the momentum that silence created. When contact resumes, structure matters more than excitement. Structure gives direction. Excitement fades in hours. Direction lasts. Re-engaging with structure means you don't reopen old conflicts immediately. You don't interrogate. You don't demand labels. You don't rush the storyline. You guide the interaction with calm intention. For example, if she reaches out casually, you respond casually. If she asks how you're doing, you answer without trying to prove anything. You let the energy build naturally before you take it deeper. Structure also means pacing. Modern dating runs on momentum shifts. If you move too fast, you throw off the polarity. If you move too slow, you signal disinterest. Structure is finding the middle. Interest without eagerness. Warmth without attachment. Curiosity without pressure. It shows emotional balance, and women notice that quickly. Another part of structure is boundaries. Silence often happens because boundaries were unclear or absent. Maybe one person was doing all the work. Maybe expectations were mismatched. Maybe communication rhythms weren't aligned. When you re-engage, you don't go back to the same dynamic that led to silence. You lead differently. You become selective in how you give time and attention, not to control her, but to protect yourself and build healthier momentum. Re-engagement also exposes compatibility. If the conversation becomes cooperative, light, and consistent, there's room for rebuilding. If it becomes complicated or one-sided again, silence served its purpose. It showed you something you needed to see. Structure keeps you from being emotional clay in a woman's hands. It makes the connection intentional instead of impulsive. Men who understand structure don't just get women back, they get better outcomes. They don't repeat the same mistakes. They don't negotiate their dignity. And they don't allow attraction to become chaos. Structure makes you the calm center of the dynamic, not the emotional follower. 7. The final decision. After silence, patience, and re-engagement, there's a moment where you have to decide what direction the connection takes. Most men never make that decision consciously. They just drift back into talking, hoping things magically align. That's how men end up stuck in half relationships, situationships, or unbalanced dynamics that drain them. The final decision is not about control, it's about leadership. Leadership means choosing based on clarity, not fantasy. Silence gives you information. It shows how she handles distance. It shows if she initiates. It shows if she respects your space. It shows if she values the connection enough to maintain momentum. Once communication resumes, you measure those things honestly. If she returns with warmth, effort, consistency, and feminine openness, there's a foundation to build on. If she returns with confusion, games, or minimal energy, you don't invest further. That's not punishment. That's choosing the path with the least chaos. The final decision also protects you from over-attachment. Too many men cling to potential instead of reality. They remember a few strong moments and ignore the gaps. Silence breaks the illusion. It brings the truth forward. The truth might be that she isn't ready. The truth might be that she lost interest. The truth might be that she was waiting for you to lead again. Whatever the truth is, you don't run from it. You act on it. At the end of the silence arc, every man has two paths: continue or close the chapter. Continuing should only happen if the connection feels mutual. Closing should happen if you feel like you're carrying the relationship. Real strength isn't in holding on. It's in choosing what serves your peace. Modern dating rewards men who decide with clarity, not men who linger in confusion. Silence gives clarity. You just have to be willing to use it. When contact stops, silence becomes the test most men never train for. It exposes patience, confidence, boundaries, and emotional control. It shows what's real and what's imagined. The man who handles silence well doesn't chase, argue, or collapse. He observes, positions, and decides. If she comes back with effort, there's something to build. If she doesn't, you walk with dignity. In a world where attention is cheap, presence is rare. Silence protects both.